resolution for your Orlando Magic, what would it be?
Take care of the basketball. I think that's what we got to go with. I think our ability to take care of the basketball gives us a chance in every single game because we are turning teams over, but being able to convert those turnovers is very important. And then the other side of it is how can we, give the ball away less.
How was Jalen doing, and was he able to practice?
Jalen was able to go through practice today. Again, we'll reevaluate him again tomorrow, see how he's fully feeling out after today.
How's AB doing?
AB was not able to go through practice today, so we'll keep checking and monitoring him over the next couple of days as well.
Was the backstabbing something that just flared up before the game, or had that been kind of an underlying issue that just maybe came to light before that game?
Yeah, I think it flared up pretty much before the game, so I think that's something that, again, we have to keep monitoring and looking at and checking over the next couple of days.
This Detroit team has been able to pull up especially on that West Coast trip they did. What have you noticed about just how JB has developed them since you guys last saw them?
I just really think they're comfortable in where they are. He's got them defending the right way. They're playing through Cade, who's playing some big-time basketball right now. And I think there's just that belief system of, going in and taking games. They've been in a ton of close games, so they have that experience under their belt right now. But I think there's just a belief system in what they're capable of doing and how they can do it. And again, it's credit to JB for what he does and how he does it, being able to teach, being able to implement his system, and these guys really believing in it.
The game on Sunday, you obviously have to go deep in your bench with the injuries that you have. How difficult is it to expect guys to be able to play when the rotations aren't consistent? You're just kind of searching for guys and having those guys to step up the way they can.
Well, we've talked about the standard that we have here, and it goes to the point of being able to stay ready. When your number's called, can you be ready for that moment? And our coaches do a tremendous job of keeping these guys ready, communicating them the right things, watching the right film, knowing that any moment it can change a game over. And it's going to be different guys at different times. We've had multiple lineups. Nothing looking the same, and so our guys being able to know when they're called into the game what they're expected to do and how they're expected to play.
As a coach, how quickly do you have to assess and analyze? Hey, I need to go with a different plan or a different player because this lineup that we're throwing out there for the first time may not be working, or this guy may not have it today. I gotta try and find something to win this game. How quickly do you have to kind of adjust to whatever your pregame plan is?
Well, as soon as a foul happens or somebody goes down, which we've seen a ton of, but just the ability to have the read and the feel for the game, what's happening in that moment. Some guys may have it in that game, some guys don't, and that's okay. But just being able to know that we can look down to the bench and that guys will be able to step in to that moment and be prepared for whatever's asked of them.
Wendell started that last game because of the lineup and the starting lineup on that. But without Mo, Wendell came off the bench at the beginning of the playoff series last year, a couple times last year, but without Mo moving forward, how can he help the offense off the bench moving forward from here? But obviously rotations are going to change on that.
I wish I could give you a dead set answer on exactly how it's going to look, but as you know, with what we've been going through and how we've been hit with different injuries, different times throughout the season, it's going to stay fluid. But that's the beauty of what we go through in training camp, of understanding you're going to play with different lineups, different rotations, different people. You've got to be able to accept that, understand your responsibility to the team. And speaking, specifically of Wendell, he's good in both scenarios. Whether he's starting or coming off the bench, what we're asking him to contribute is similar in both roles. Being a dominant presence in the paint, defending both defensively, protecting the rim and in the pick and roll, then offensively being a playmaker.
Wendell's talked to us about having to adjust to playing power forward alongside Goga. You talked to us a little bit today about adjusting to coming off the bench for the first time in his career. What's when you look at Wendell and the challenges that he's had to face kind of with his role kind of floating around, what does it say about him to be able to still to kind of roll with those punches and still find a way to contribute to this team?
It says a lot about who he is as a young man, being able to adjust to whatever's thrown his way. And I think it's so good that he can accept it. And again, it's all about the team and what he needs to do for this team. And again, it may not be comfortable in the moment, but that's what makes him him, that he'll find a way to adjust to whatever's thrown in his direction.
How was Paolo doing? What was he able to do today in practice?
Paolo was able to go through some light contact through practice, but that's about it.
Franz is, I think, think a little bit short of 4 weeks from the initial injury. I know that was kind of the first reevaluation period that the team put out. Just how is he doing physically right now?
I mean, spirits are great, one, but physically he seems to be doing okay. He's slowly moving into a little bit of movement, some conditioning pieces, but obviously we got to keep monitoring it as this time goes by more than anything. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Wendell, if you had a New Year's resolution for you and your team, what would it be?
Continue to be that scrappy team. I don't think it's nothing we really need to change. Continue to be the Orlando Magic, the culture that we built. Continue that into the next year. Don't let have any drop-offs, any slack-offs going into 2025. And then with our two horses on the way back, working back, it's just gonna make us even more powerful.
You mentioned you guys got two horses working back, but having seen Paolo kind of doing his ramp up as of late, what's maybe the most encouraging part of that for you guys as a team to be able to see that?
As a team, being one of the best players in the league, it's always good to have him back. But then for him personally, him going through that injury that he had, having to sit out, be on the sidelines for so many games, I'm sure he's extremely eager just to get back out there and pick up kind of where he left off at. So, as a team, we're going to be even better. But I think just him as a person, him as a player, I hate when guys go down, especially for injuries that, kind of unavoidable. So, for him just to come back, get his feedback wet, get back running up and down this court, it's a good thing just for him personally.
This Detroit team as of late has been heading off to a hot start, especially coming off that West Coast trip. What really stood out to you about them heading into that game?
Their grit, their determination. After the year they had last year, I feel like they came into this year with a different mindset. Making sure they didn't repeat that year. We've been there. We've been that team before where we played well, but we weren't finishing our games, we weren't closing our games, but they've been doing a good job of that this year. It'll be a great test for us, just to continue on our upward trend. Like I said before, with our two guys soon to come back, just continue to be dominant on both ends of the court. So when they come back, it'll just be a smooth process for them.
You started the other night, but with Mo down for the rest of the year, you came off the bench the first couple of games. And obviously, rotations are going to change based on who's available and whatnot. But how do you feel like you can help that second unit maybe find its groove? It feels like because of all the different lineups, it's struggling on offense a little bit.
It was different for me. Coming off the bench, that was the first time I've ever came off the bench, except for last year, a little bit last year, I think, in the playoffs. But it was different. It was a different mindset you kind of have to have when you come off the bench. I've talked to other guys around the league who come off the bench, guys like Bobby Portis, things like that. And not really talk to them, but just see, what their main focus is when they come into the game, right? Mo was that spark offensively for us, so that's something that. Not saying I have to be Mo in any kind of way, but have to be able to provide that spark on that offensive end. Because defensively, we're going to be good. That's something that not saying we're not worried about, but we all have pride on that side of the ball. So it makes that side very easy, no matter who is out there. I think offensively, it just gives me an opportunity just to be a little bit more aggressive, but at the same time, just kind of set the tone for us offensively. Whether it's setting hard screens, hitting the offensive boards, being aggressive whenever I catch in the pocket or in the post. So it was different for me, but I'm able to adjust to anything, so I'll be fine.
With all talk about New Year's resolutions or whatever, but if you could think about this 2023 year, is there something that stands out to you that just, will take with you into 2025 with your team, a game, a moment, anything that's just amazing for 2024?
Honestly, when we lost France, and then being down both P and France in this stretch, taking it in 2025, it just, I said this at the beginning of the year, but it just made it even more evident that we can really roll out any five and be competitive with any team in this league. From the Miamis to the Bostons of the world, we won those games, and a lot of credit to just this team and just how powerful we are. So that's something that, definitely eye-opening for me, for us to be able to pull those games out, when everyone kind of has to lose those games. That's kind of what I'm going to take into 2025 for sure.
With all the injuries, how difficult is it to kind of get used to the new lineups? I know you said you're adjusting the bench. Last time we talked to you, you're adjusting to playing alongside Goga.
Yeah.
Like just the lack of consistency. How difficult has it been to kind of find kind of that role or that rhythm? And what does it say that the team's still been able to kind of scratch out the wins even while you're trying to find it?
Yeah, it's difficult. First things first. We're human. We get used to a certain type of a rhythm, a certain role. Consistency is kind of a thing that humans are naturally good for. So when things are kind of wacky, from minutes played to starting to coming off the bench, not just for me but just for all of us. Nicole, AB, Tristan, it's hard, but the fact that, like I said before, we're such a gritty, defensive-minded team that we're able to withstand some of that frustration, or maybe on the offensive end, or whatever the case may be, with the stops that we're able to pile up in games, hold teams underneath their averages. That's what kind of makes it, gives us a little bit more of a leeway to give us time to kind of figure out, offensively get our groove. So that's why we hang our head on that end, so we'll be good.
Thanks,
Good?
Wendell.
Yep.